Yeah, it's great to be here.
Yeah, so much. We made the interview last year ago, so if you haven't watched it yet, you can search on our YouTube channel and know about Ben's journey in AI and blockchain space. So I guess so much happened with Singularity within a year. Your token is bumping like crazy. I guess over
Yeah,
900% just since January. So can you tell about your latest updates in Singularity?
yeah, there's a lot of things going on in SingularityNet, and overall, it's an exciting time to be doing AI. AI is really booming, and the cryptocurrency space is always a bit strange, and the technological progress is kind of steady, and then the economic aspect is complete mayhem, right? So I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, the
terrifying.
token price, as you mentioned, the token's gone up like 11 times in the last month or something, and before that, it was quite flat for a long time. And I mean that is what it is. I mean, but the core progress in the technology has been going along quite steadily, through the market ups and downs, and we'll continue to. So here at the LEAP conference, I gave a couple presentations with the Grace robot, which is the younger sister of the better-known Sophia robot, who is a citizen of Saudi Arabia, by the way. She's the first
Yeah.
robot citizen, right? So we showed
Does
up.
Grace as well get the Saudi
Grace is
Arabian
not a Saudi
citizenship?
citizen yet. No, no, but she, however, may be rolled out at scale in Saudi Arabia first. We've been talking to people here about rolling her out in the medical facilities here. She's a elder care robot for the old folks' homes and hospitals, and we have a partnership here in Saudi Arabia with Detasad, which is a Saudi informatics company. Well, they're in a whole bunch of different industries, and so we're looking to work together with Detasad on applications rolling out AI and blockchain and robotics technology of various sorts in Saudi Arabia. But this is one among a host of different initiatives that we're doing in SingularityNet, right? Because we've got the core SingularityNet platform, which is a blockchain-based platform for AI. But what we've been doing in the last year is creating a bunch of different spin-off projects that they're their own separate companies, but they use the SingularityNet platform to do stuff, right? And so one of these is Singularity Studio, which is basically about deploying SingularityNet related technology in enterprises, and thus the partnership with
Do you work
Detasad.
with any enterprises here in Saudi Arabia?
Well, we've had a bunch of interesting conversations here, and Detasad is the one firm partnership that we've signed up. But a couple of days ago, before coming here to Riyadh for the LEAP conference, I was in Dammam, which is another Saudi city by the coast, meeting with King Fahd University, which is the it's like the MIT of Saudi, and they're basically right across the street from Saudi Aramco and share a bunch of resources there. So we've been in discussions on potentially collaborating there on using AI to train neural models to understand Arabic language, for example. Because I mean now, Google's models understand English, Spanish, some languages very well. In China, you have Tencent, Baidu, iFlyTech, many companies very strong with Chinese language, but there's nothing that powerful for Arabic language. But I
But
mean,
I think ChatGPT supports Arabic language as well.
but it's not as good as it is in English. No. I mean, machine translation works, so much better than it used to. But between English and Arabic is not nearly as good as, say, English Spanish, English French, or something like that. So that's
And what other directions of activity of
yeah,
Singularity are other?
lots of other interesting stuff going on. And so one project is Hypercycle, which is a ledgerless blockchain. So we're rolling this out initially as a Cardano sidechain, but in its fundamental architecture, it could be layer one as well. So this is a fundamental rethinking of the foundations of blockchain, because we're getting rid of the ledger, right? And the ledger, which is sort of record of all the transactions. I mean, this is sort of at the basis of Bitcoin and pretty much every other blockchain since then. But if you get rid of this ledger, you don't need to have a replicated ledger, then you can do things far, far more efficiently. And it's much more decentralized. So just each participant in the network keeps a record of their own history and an encrypted record of their neighbors and their neighbors' history. Then the whole thing is distributed and decentralized. And my friend Tufi Saliba is running that project. He developed the Toda ledgerless blockchain. We've integrated that with various aspects of SingularityNET, like our proof of reputation system. So we're creating Hypercycle, a whole new blockchain. Another thing we're doing that's fine. Another thing we're doing in the area of medical blockchain. So we have a project called Rejuve, which gives you tokens for contributing health or medical data in an encrypted way to the Rejuve decentralized blockchain-based data commons, right? Then we're using that data together with data we get from biology labs. So, for example, we have these fruit flies that live 5 times as long as normal fruit flies, and so we're studying their DNA. Put the DNA from the flies together with the data from the tokenomically incentivized Rejuve network, feed this into decentralized AI running on the SingularityNET platform, right? And then you've got a powerful way to discover new therapies, and we're trying to basically upend the way the pharmaceutical industry works and discover new longevity therapies. We also
laboratories based for this Rejuve company.
Well, the biology lab is in California, but of course the humans contributing data can be anywhere. So there's a Rejuve app, which is currently in beta on the Android app Store and the Apple App Store, and that should be released in the full public version probably next month or something. So anyone can contribute data. The fruit flies in the actual pharma lab is in Southern California, in LA area.
And do you need any FDA approval or something like that
It depends on what you do, right? So I mean, you can, by doing this genomics and informatics, I mean, you can discover novel nutraceuticals, like supplements combining different ingredients, and you don't need FDA approval. Of course, if you're doing drug or gene therapy, you need approvals based on your jurisdiction. So we're partnered with a company called BioViva, which is based near me in the Seattle area, and they're doing a variety of gene therapies in overseas clinics where approval is easier to get. But to release therapies in U.S., there is a government approval cycle, but it's getting faster. So U.S. FDA has now changed their rules so that you can go straight from a computer simulation result to a human trial. You don't need to do trials in animals before. So we can test things in the computer, we can test things on flies and see how they work. Then we can go direct to testing them on humans, right? So it's still a bit slow, which kind of should be. I mean, you're messing with people's DNA and putting drugs in their bodies, right? But the AI discovery part can be quite fast now, which is interesting. And we've been playing with software for decentralized social networks as well. Yeah, so we're starting with that in a sort of small way. We launched a magazine called Mindplex. You can find it at mindplex.ai, and associated with the magazine, you have a sort of social network of readers of the magazine. You can comment on posts, comment each other's comments. Readers can submit articles and get tokens for submitting the articles and so forth.
AGIX tokens or other tokens?
It's Mindplex tokens. It's its own native tokens, yeah. Well, although the AI powering the website is all running on AGIX tokens. So yeah, this is both, a cool magazine and decentralized media network, but we're also looking at that to sort of test and refine our algorithms for decentralized social networks. Because I would love to see someone launch on SingularityNET platform, like launch a fully decentralized tokenized version of Twitter or Facebook, right? I mean, there are things in that direction out there, but none of them has really taken off yet. But I'm sure something will soon. You can see the
So do you have something like alternative to Lens protocol, like a social media graph with Singularity?
yeah. I mean, you can. Thing is, in our OpenCog AI system, which runs on SingularityNET and Hypercycle, we have a big distributed knowledge graph, and so you can import social graph of connections in there, and we then have a reputation system that automatically lets you sort of rate. It automatically rates other people's reputation in ways that are relevant to you. So you don't need like a centralized filtering algorithm or anything like that. The decentralized reputation system sort of automatically does the rating and filtering for you.
And do you have implemented AI chatbot with those messages?
We haven't combined those two yet, but we certainly will. Yeah, I mean, of course, with a social network, people really want to communicate with each other, not so much with chatbots, but there are certainly ways to use AI text generation, interestingly. So one thing we're doing with the Mindflex magazine, we're integrating a wiki for advanced technical topics and for things about blockchain, for things about AI, nanotechnology, and so forth. You can then have AI generate new articles about advanced technologies, and you can give people Mindflex tokens for correcting the AI's mistakes. And then you're getting a really solid base of knowledge. Because right now, generative AI models like ChatGPT, Google's Bard, and so forth, I mean, they're powerful, as is our own AI behind our robots, but they make a fair bit of dumb mistakes, and they don't know.
Especially ChatGPT is quite outdated.
Yeah, they don't know what they know, right? So sometimes they're brilliant and incredibly knowledgeable. Sometimes they'll just spew out random garbage, and they can't tell the difference, right? So, I mean, that will be changed and improved as technology evolves. But for now, having a system where you can reward people with tokens for correcting the AI's errors is basically a way for AI and human to work together to build up a whole knowledge base, which then has more solidity to it than what the AI comes up with on its own. Then feed that into AI reasoning engines that can help answer people's questions and so forth.
And I read as well your current Telegraph article, and you mentioned that the Metaverse goes as well with AI, and that maybe because there's some kind of not enough people in the Metaverse, and it's depopularized, maybe AI creatures will be.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Metaverse, like many things, it got hyped a lot and then didn't live up to the hype fast enough, and then sort of collapsed, right? But I mean, I think it's a very valid and important concept, and this sort of 3D interface, it appeals to all of our senses more than the typical flat interface and the way things are laid out on the screen. So I mean, I think Metaverse is going to happen. It's going to be a big thing, and integrating tokenomic models with an online world makes a lot of sense. I mean, you need money in the online world in the end, just like you do in the physical world, and there's no reason that fiat currencies need to dominate the online universe, right?
How is the implementation of CBDCs in Metaverse in your opinion?
Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, governments will try to take over everything, and of course, the Chinese Metaverse will probably have to use the ERMB, right? But I mean, I think in the Western world, it'll be a little more freewheeling, and as we see cryptocurrencies generally legitimated in Western regulatory systems, it'll be fine to use cryptos in the Metaverse. The thing is, the problem the Metaverse has now is just network effects, right? I mean, it's boring because there's nobody there, and there's nobody there because it's boring. And then how do you cut through that? So one way to cut through that is put cool AIs in the Metaverse, right? I mean, if there's AIs doing funny, amazing things to watch in the Metaverse, and if generative AI models can build the world and build an amazing world to walk around in. So you don't have to pay graphic artists to do all the world building. But what if you can go in the metaverse and say, like, build me a castle with 7 spires and like three dragons, all with replicas of Donald Trump with a goat's head riding on each dragon. I mean, you can envision whatever your crazy mind comes up with. The AI can put it there in the metaverse for you to play with. I mean, there's a lot of ways to use AI to make metaverses fun, but it takes some imagination, right? Because the metaverse, it can't just be video games. Those already exist, and they're great, but they don't. Video games as such don't really need tokens, and they don't really need AGI either. They need pretty constrained non-player characters. On the other hand, the metaverse isn't just the web blown up into 3D either. I mean, there's no point in just reading text on the screen in the metaverse or something, right? So it really needs to be something new and innovative, and mixing up AI and tokenomics in novel ways in the metaverse, I think, can lead to a lot of cool, creative things.
And you talked about as well AGI, artificial general intelligence, and about training of AI. Do you have any fears in the future that it's somehow overcome humans? And
I'm way more afraid of people than of AIs. I mean, people are known to be nasty, and all over the world they're like blowing each other up for no good reason, right? Whereas AI is still a baby. We can teach it and guide it in different ways. And this sort of comes back to the metaverse, because actually the reason I'm most interested in the metaverse is I think it's the best place to teach and train baby AI systems. I mean, robots are great, and we're working with Grace, Sophia, and Desdemona, who sings in our rock band, right? So we've got these cool robots, and you can learn a lot from being in the world and being a robot, but I mean, it's expensive to operate robots, and they're still physically limited in where they can go and what they can do. Whereas if you have an AI controlling a body in a metaverse world, I mean, it can fly, it can go all around the world, it can see anything, it can build anything, it can chat with all different people. Different AIs can form groups and engage in collective behaviors, right? So I mean, I think there's a tremendous power for the metaverse as a teaching environment for AIs.
And then, they teach each other as well?
They certainly will, but it can't only be that, right? Like, I mean, like, I have a 1-year-old daughter. If we have only 1-year-olds teaching each other, they will learn a lot, but it'll be very slow for them to reinvent language, calculus, mathematics, and technology, right? So, I mean, you need a mix, just like with young children teach each other a lot, but there's also a reason we have adults help teach them stuff, right? But the nature of the virtual world they're involved in is important, just like the use case for the robots, right? So if you have elder care robots, or if you have a metaverse environment with a sort of positive educational feel to it, that's one thing. If you have just first-person shooter games and military robots, then that's going to entrain the mind of the young AGI in a different way.